By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to find $200 to $300 you're losing every single month without giving up a single thing you actually enjoy. And the last method is the one that turned a 3.5% savings rate into nearly 14% automatically. No willpower required. So grab your coffee. Seriously, keep the coffee and let's get into it. Back in 1999, a financial advisor named David Bach was sitting across from a young woman at Morgan Stanley. She was convinced she'd never save money. Bach asked her to walk through her daily spending. She mentioned her morning Starbucks run, a double non-fat latte, and a muffin, about $5. Bach grabbed a calculator. $5 a day, invested over 40 years at 10% annual returns, $948,000. He looked at her and said, "You're spending almost $1 million on coffee." He called it the Latte Factor. His book, The Automatic Millionaire, hit #1 on 4 bestseller lists simultaneously. Over 1.5 million copies sold. But here's where it gets complicated. Financial journalist Helene Olin wrote an entire book called Pound Foolish, tearing this idea apart. Her words were sharp. She wrote, "The problem isn't their taste in coffee. It's that their income hasn't kept up with the cost of living. Real wages barely grew for decades. Housing exploded. Healthcare exploded. Education exploded. A latte isn't what's keeping people poor. The system is." Then in 2017, Australian real estate millionaire Tim Gurner went on 60 Minutes and said, his exact words, "When I was trying to buy my first home, I wasn't buying smashed avocado for $19 and 4 coffees at $4 each." The internet grabbed a calculator of its own. Median Sydney home deposit at the time, around $175,000. Years to save that by skipping avocado toast, 150. So who's right? The coffee-cutting crowd or the critics? Ramit Sethi, author of I Will Teach You to Be Rich, puts it this way: you can't latte factor your way to financial freedom, but you can automate your way there. That line holds the key to this entire video. Both sides are missing something, and by the end, you'll see exactly what it is. Here's the first thing, and you can do this in 20 minutes today. Pull up your bank statement. Not your memory of your bank statement, your actual bank statement. A 2022 study by consumer research firm C plus our research surveyed 1,000 Americans about their subscription spending. The average person was paying $166 a month on subscriptions. But when asked to guess that number, $86, off by nearly double. That's $133 a month, vanishing into services they barely touch. Streaming platforms they haven't opened since last winter. A gym membership collecting digital dust. And that one's by design. 67% of gym memberships go completely unused. That's not a bug. That's the business model. They're counting on you forgetting. So open your banking app right now, scroll through last month's charges. I guarantee you'll find at least 2 or 3 subscriptions you forgot existed. Cancel them. That alone could put $100, $200 back in your pocket every single month. You won't miss a thing because you weren't using them anyway. Now, here's where things get interesting. Subscriptions are invisible. You set them up once and never think about them again. But they're not the only invisible spending. Not even close. Picture this. It's 11 at night. Your bedroom's dark except for the glow of your phone. You're scrolling Amazon half asleep. Your thumb hovers over buy now. One tap. No friction. That's by design. Amazon built the one-click purchase button specifically to kill the pause between impulse and action. That single moment, repeated a few times a month, adds up to roughly $82 per session, according to a 2022 Slick Deals consumer survey. Now picture the delivery app. You pull up the menu. $14 for pad thai. Sounds reasonable. But after the service fee, the delivery fee, the small order fee, and the tip, $22. That $8 ghost surcharge 3 times a week is over $1,200 a year in fees alone. A post went viral on the personal finance subreddit in 2021. 15 million members, and this one pulled over 12,000 upvotes. A user tracked every purchase for 6 months. They didn't cut their lattes. What they cut was the invisible stuff. An unused gym membership, $50 a month. 3 forgotten streaming services, $45. Delivery app fees they didn't know they were paying, $30. And random Amazon impulse buys, about $120 a month, $245 a month, nearly $3,000 a year. Gone, without touching a single thing they actually enjoyed. Here's the thing. 72% of Americans say money is their #1 source of stress. That knot in your stomach when you check your balance, you're not alone. And the cruelest part is that most of that stress isn't coming from the purchases you love. The warm cup in your hand on a cold morning, the smell of espresso as you walk through the door, the barista who knows your name. It's coming from the charges you don't even remember making. Behavioral economist Dan Ariely found that people who simply track their spending, even without changing anything, start making different choices. Awareness itself shifts behavior. Try it for 30 days. Don't restrict anything. Just write it down. Every coffee, every app purchase, every subscription renewal. The moment you see where the money actually goes, that knot starts to loosen. If you're finding this helpful, hit subscribe. I drop videos like this every week. And the best part, it's coming right now. Okay, remember how I said the last method works better than the other two combined? Here it is. This is what David Bach was actually trying to tell us. The part that got buried under the whole latte debate. Don't rely on willpower. Automate it. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to a savings or investment account. Time it for payday. Before you see the money, before you can spend it, before you make any decision at all. This works because of something behavioral economists call present bias. A warm cup in your hand right now feels more real than a retirement balance you can't touch for 30 years. That's not a character flaw. That's every human brain on the planet. So you remove the decision entirely. Here's the proof. Behavioral economists Shlomo Benartzi and Richard Thaler. Thaler won the Nobel Prize in Economics in 2017, created the Save More Tomorrow program. They tested it on employees at Philips. Workers enrolled in automatic savings increases tied to future pay raises. They never felt a pay cut, never sacrificed a thing. Their savings rate climbed from 3.5% to 13.6% in just 40 months. The control group, the ones relying on willpower and good intentions, barely moved. And it gets bigger. Vanguard's 2023 How America Saves report found that automatic enrollment plans carry a 92% participation rate. Voluntary enrollment, 28%. Same people, same incomes, same goals. The only difference was whether the system did the work or the person did. Here's why waiting costs you real money. Not someday. Right now. Every month you stay on autopilot, that's another $245 that doesn't compound. At 7%, a single month of delay costs you roughly $2,500 over 30 years. That's not a rounding error. That's a vacation. Gone. Because you waited. Take whatever you found from the first two methods. Maybe it's $150 a month. Maybe it's $300. Automate that exact amount into an investment account. $200 a month at 7%. The inflation-adjusted historical average for 30 years. $242,000. At 10%, closer to the raw stock market average. $452,000. You never saw the money. You never missed it. You never white-knuckled your way past a single coffee shop. The system did the work. And here's what seals it. A 2019 study in the Journal of Consumer Research found that people who automated their savings actually enjoyed their remaining spending more. Not less. More. Because the guilt was gone. They had permission to enjoy what was left. Let that sit for a second. So, there you go. Audit the subscriptions you're not using. Track the invisible spending you didn't know you had. Then automate the difference before you ever see it. You don't have to give up your morning coffee. You just have to stop money from disappearing into things you don't care about and redirect it somewhere that compounds in your favor. The latte was never the problem. Autopilot was. If this changed how you think about your money, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe. Next week, I'm breaking down exactly how to negotiate a raise, step by step. That one conversation could be worth more than a lifetime of skipped lattes.